Hey everyone, I hope everyone has had a nice, productive week. Um, Today I am tuning in to speak with you about something that is near and dear to my heart. And it's kind of a sensitive subject for a lot of us, and today it's kind of more toward the women. Um, Part of my purpose for my channel um, is to help people understand the life that I live as a young woman who also has a disability, which means that the way that I live life is slightly different from the way that a few other people live life. Um, but it's the same in a lot of ways. And one of the big things that I want to talk about today is relationships and relationship goals. My fiance and I have been together almost 5 years, and we just got engaged in 2016. And every single day we are working on ourselves so that we can be better people for each other, and our future children. And it's really interesting because people assume often that because I have a visual impairment that I must live with my mother and that I must not live independently. Or people will ask me offensive questions like, is it hard for you to find someone who can accept your visual impairment? And I have to say, when I was younger, it was. Because teenagers are stupid and teenagers are mean. It's not their fault. I was probably stupid and mean too, but it's just how teenagers are. So, teenage love is a little different, but now we're talking about, being adults. Honestly, one of the hardest things about being in my relationship is that, just like me, my fiance has a visual impairment. So, life isn't easy. People look at when you have a disability, the goal for most people who have a visual impairment, the goal is to be in a relationship with someone who does not have a visual impairment, someone who can drive, someone who can do things that you can't do. And that's what I want to talk about today, is the reality that being with someone who doesn't have a disability is not any better than being with someone who does. It's still a relationship and it's still hard. You still have to put in work to make it work so that you can both be happy. And what hurts me is that often my female friends who get into relationships with these men that don't have disabilities are mistreated. And I don't know if I'm just sensitive or if it's true that they take more bullshit just because they feel like that is all they're gonna get, or that that's all they deserve in order to be with someone who can drive, in order to be with someone who can take them from A to B. And to be honest, I would rather struggle. I would rather walk to the bus stop on a drizzly cold day or pay for an Uber or whatever the case is with a man who respects me than to fuss and fight with a man who disrespects me. What's the point of being with someone who can see, who can take you from A to B, if they're also messing around with other women, or not treasuring you, or not appreciating you, or making you feel bad because you have a disability? And it irritates me. Like I said before, I went to, I can't even remember where it was at the moment, and asked for help and it was the doctor. Went to the doctor and asked for assistance and said that my fiance has a vision impairment, and the woman at the doctor told me, oh no, that's not good. because she felt like he couldn't help me. And because he couldn't help me, it was a problem for her. That wasn't a problem for me. That was a problem for her. And I want people to understand that having a visual impairment and being in a relationship isn't any different. It's still two people trying to make it work with the same goals. And it does get frustrating. Any day of the week where I need to go somewhere and I know that I can't drive myself and my fiance can't drive me, sometimes it's frustrating because it makes what I have to accomplish longer. I have to map out the time for waiting for someone else to pick me up, and then the transportation and getting there and so on and so forth. That's frustrating for me. But it's worth it. And the fact that we accomplish it together. We go through it together. Hey, I have to go somewhere, I have to do something. We get up and we go together. We go through our struggle together. And some people think that that's embarrassing. Some people think that that's terrible. But the fact of the matter is, I have friends who don't have disabilities whose men are treating them like garbage. And so it's not like, I just don't see what the big deal is. I feel like it's 2017. Looking at someone and picking them apart for what they don't have or for what you think is less than is really, really stupid in 2017. You can always find something wrong with someone. We live in a society where that's basically all people do is pick each other apart. So no, I don't care that my fiance has a disability. I don't care that sometimes we have to wait for people to take us from A to B or we have to pay for it. I don't care about that. Because I have a man who's willing to go through the life struggles with me. And I have a job and I can afford to take myself from A to B. I can afford to pay for it. So what's the point? There are people who can see out here that don't drive. And it irritates me even that someone at some point asked my mom, does it bother her that my fiance is disabled? Like, would she prefer me to be with someone who's not? And of course she said no, because there's been times where I was sick. There's been times when I was in the ICU, and visual impairment or not, my fiance was sitting there with my mom holding her hand, making sure that she was fine. That is a man for you, regardless of what his impairment is or what my impairment is. That doesn't make him any less of a man, and it doesn't make me any less of a woman. And the other thing I don't like is that people tell me, oh, well, you're pretty despite your visual impairment. What does that even mean? That's such a backhanded ass compliment. I'm pretty despite my impairment. Like, I get offended when people tell me that, just like people say, oh, you're pretty for a dark-skinned woman. You're pretty for being heavyset. It's still insulting. Why can't I just be pretty? Hey, Michelle, you're pretty. Oh, thank you. Period. Why can't it just be that? But unfortunately, we live in a society full of people that are so judgmental that nothing is ever that simple. And it's important to me to speak out on these things because so many people think that they're little, but they're not. And it hurts my heart to have friends who are visually impaired, who have men that don't have disabilities that treat them like garbage. Just the same as it hurts my heart to have friends that have absolutely nothing wrong with them who have men that treat them like garbage. But it makes me proud that I have a man, and Lord knows sometimes he gets on every nerve in my spirit. But he treats me very well. He respects my family. He respects my friends. And he tries to set an example for them as what a good man should be. I've got friends, multiple friends, that they have gone out with us and been the third wheel, and my fiance has paid for their food. That's a good man. My fiance opens the door for them just like he opens the door for me. That's a good man. When I'm out with my mom, he opens the door. Yes, that man gets on my nerves, and I'm not going to claim that he's perfect, but he's a good man. And we're entering into this new phase where we're really trying to work on our communication, because communication is very important for any kind of relationship. And we're both kind of stubborn, and I'm kind of bossy. So it's hard for him to communicate with me because I'm very stuck in my ways. And I don't blame him for that. It's something that we're both working on. But the fact that he's open and willing to work is more than I can say for most men. So all I'm saying is, before you open your mouth to judge me and what I have going on over here, think about what you're dealing with. Think about your crazy ass baby's father, or your baby's mother, or whatever messed up thing that anybody can say to you about your situation. You need to think about that before you cross over here and judge mine. Like, I don't need no backward ass, oh, he's visually impaired too. Oh no, that's bullshit. I don't need anybody to tell me that my life is going to be harder. My life is going to be hard with or without a man. It's 2017. All of our lives are going to be hard. And I am comfortable enough with who I am to be able to accept him for who he is. And I love that I have a disability, because I see people completely in a different light than any other person in the world. Like, I have the ability to see people for exactly who they truly are. And I think that's the best thing that I could have taken from ever having a disability in my life. Like, it's just funny to me. It really is. It's funny to me how people perceive things from the outside looking in. Or it's funny that people feel like if they're telling me, oh, I'm glad that you guys make it work, you're such an inspiration to people with a disability. Going to work and going to school and paying their bills is so inspiring. Why do I have to be inspiring just because I'm doing the same motherfucking thing that you're doing? I'm going to work and I'm making money and I'm paying my bills. Why, because I have a disability, do I have to still live with my parents? That doesn't make sense to me. Like, why is it to people any worse having a disability and being in a relationship than, I don't know, being gay or being old or whatever? Like, why is what I'm doing more aspirational? Why does everybody wants to make it a story or a movie? Like, you're such an inspiration because you're doing the same thing that we're doing. You're doing the same thing over there. Like, or people assume that I don't go out on Friday nights because I have a disability. No, I don't go out all the time because nobody wants to deal with all of the ignorance of people getting shot or getting stupid or getting drunk or getting in fights. I don't have that kind of patience. I'd rather sit my ass in my house. I pay for my house. I pay for cable. I have a radio. That's really all I need. If I want entertainment, we might go out to dinner or to lunch. And we're capable of getting up and going out to lunch without having someone to help us. Having a disability, regardless of what your disability is, does not mean that someone has to help you every day, 24 hours a day. Having a disability doesn't mean that I don't get to have a job or vote or get any of my rights as a citizen taken away. So don't applaud me for the shit that I'm supposed to do. It's irritating. It is. And I'm not keeping quiet about it anymore. It's irritating. Quit applauding me for stupid things. If I find a cure for cancer, applaud that. If I win the Nobel Peace Prize, applaud that. If I meet Beyonce, applaud that. But don't tell me how much of an inspiration I am because I get up and I go to work like a regular ass person. And I want you all to know that. And quit teaching your kids to look at people with disabilities and applaud them when they get older. Like, don't do this ignorant. And please trust and believe that if someone needs help, disability or no disability, they will ask for it. Like, I will. If I need help, I'm going to ask you for it. Or, and on the opposite end of the spectrum, don't volunteer to do some shit that you really don't want to do. Like, if I need to go to the grocery store for whatever reason, and you don't really want to take me, don't volunteer to take me and then make me wait 45 minutes, an hour for you to do whatever you was doing and then to take me to do whatever my thing was. Because I can get there and get it done without you. You volunteered. I didn't ask. And on the opposite end of the spectrum, don't act like if I need something I can call you if when I reach out to you, you're not gonna come. Because that's irritating as shit too. Like, there's so many people. One of my favorite things in life right now is all of these Facebook posts talking about, oh, if you need a friend or blase blase blah, I'm reposting this to show that someone's always out there listening or somebody always has your back. And half the people that post that are the motherfuckers that ain't never got nobody's back, can never be reached when there's something going on. It's the silent people that I respect. The people who are sitting back silently, coming over my house, dropping off food, dropping off bread, calling me when I have bronchitis, asking about Marquise. It's those silent people that don't look for the credit that I respect the most. But those silent people are not the people applauding me for being able to maintain a halfway decent ass relationship. That's all I'm saying. Like, I really hope if I only ever have 5 viewers or 5 million viewers, I hope that people are really taking things from these videos, because my whole purpose is to help people understand that regardless of what your disability is, we are still people. I am still a person. If you prick me, I will bleed. I like doing regular things. I've been screwed over in the past. I've been in bad relationships, but we all have. Like, someone asked me one day, and I can understand their curiosity, but it was the way it came across. They asked me, Michelle, when you decided to get your first tattoo, how did you know that the tattoo artist wasn't gonna just draw whatever he wanted to draw because you have a disability? I didn't. I had no idea, And my first tattoo was on my back, so I would have been screwed if he wouldn't have drawn what I asked for. But the fact is I have to trust people enough to do the right thing by me, and I can't believe that someone's always going to do the wrong thing. Now, keep in mind, I'm also not stupid. And when I went to go get my tattoo, I definitely took someone with me who could see and who could specify this is what she wants. I did that. I had my own back. But I still had to trust it. And once I went to this person to get my first tattoo, and this person did not screw me over, shout out to Sharon at Midwest Tattoo Company on Keystone, I went back to Shannon and I got my second and third tattoos. And when I get ready to get more tattoos in the future, I'm also going to go to Shannon at Midwest Tattoo Company. It's just how people with disabilities work. We understand that our life is going to be harder, it's going to be a little more difficult, and sometimes people are going to frustrate the shit out of us. But we also know that when we get into a routine and we get in situations where people know us and they're going to help us, then we do what we got to do. There's 2 buses by my house, the 28 and the 34. At this point, I've taken the bus enough to know, to have an idea of the driver knows my face, and my face is familiar. So the driver has no problem. Hey, your stop's coming up. Like, there are good people in the world who will help you if you need the help. And there's people in the world who won't always treat you like 2 people with visual impairment shouldn't go out and have a meal together. I just want to help the world to understand, because so many, we're at a point in society that I totally commend, where disabilities are being publicized for what they are instead of what we think they are. And I believe eventually someone will get around to talking about people who are blind and visually impaired. But until we get there, I just want people to know that I have their backs, and I feel it. Like, you're not alone in the world. If you're having relationship struggles, trust and believe, I have them too. If you're frustrated because you have to get up and find your own way to pick up your medicine or go to the store, and then you had to get back and it was raining, you know you got to get back before it's dark, all of that hard shit, I'm with you. I feel it. I live that life too, When someone gives you a backhanded compliment, like you're pretty or you're handsome despite your disability, I'm with you. I live that too. Like, why can't I just be pretty because I'm pretty? Why do I have to be pretty despite my disability? But, thanks to my family and my friends and the people who really do support me and who really do have my back, I'm at a place where I feel confident enough to start telling my story. And I'm at a place in life where I feel like I need to share these things with people. Talk about the things that are hard, the things that are skipped over or unnoticed. And I hope, again, that, you all get something from these. Even if it's not something big, I just want everyone in the world to know that you're not alone. And your struggle is real, and it's one that's respected. So, please, if you have anything that you want to ask me, you have anything that you want me to talk about, or if you would like to talk about something with me, please leave your comments below the video, like and share this video. And I want to get these messages out and help people to understand, like, having a disability is a part of my life. I am a young African American female who also has a disability, who also has a job, who also has a fiance. I am not my disability. It's a part of who I am. And it's time for me to help people understand that. That's all. Anyway, enjoy the rest of your weekend. I know Halloween's coming up. There's a lot going on. So please, everybody, be safe and be happy. And much love to you all.